Hey BookTube, it's Jackie. Welcome back. If you're new to me and this is the first time you're seeing my face, hey, what's up? My name's Jackie. I sit on my floor and I talk about books. So I hope that's why you're here, because that's what's going to be happening. If you're not new to me, thank you for always tuning in and the continued support. I really appreciate it. Today for you, I have my quarterly wrap up. This is everything book related that's been happening since January 1st through March 31st. So my book stats, my page counts, my genre breakdowns, my star rankings, all of those cool, fun statistical numbers that we love to keep track of because we're giant nerds and we like to see our growth in our reading experience. So we've got quite a few stuff to go over. So let's just dive right in. I will be inserting a graphic here and so you can follow along. So my total books read for the first quarter of 2022 is 27 books, with a total page count of 6,796 pages and a total listening time for the Audible books involved in that, 93 hours and 57 minutes. I DNF'd a grand total of 0 books, 17 physical books were read, and 10 Audible books were listened to. That's really, really good for me. Like, that's awesome. I am so proud of myself. You have no idea how happy that makes me to see those numbers on screen, on paper. I just love it. I'll give my own self a round of applause because I'm super proud of myself. When we get down to our genre breakdowns, I have books that cross genres. I didn't just put it in one genre. So when you add up the numbers on my genres, they are going to add up to more. I'm just giving you a heads up and a kind of an idea about that. So when it comes down to genre breakdowns, I had 9 romance books, 2 paranormal books, 8 fantasy books, 8 historical fiction books, 5 young adult books, 1 sci-fi, 2 classics, 7 nonfiction, 2 humor or comedy, and 6 other. Other just kind of, I didn't have enough to actually create a whole category, or there were so many genres the book fit into, I just put it into other. So across the gamut, I'm hitting a lot of different genres, which I'm really, really happy about. I'm very, very pleased with that kind of pie looking chart. If you put that into a pie chart, I'm very, very proud of that. It looks very nice. When you look at my age ranges of the books, I had 22 adult books, 5 YA/middle grade, and of the entire 27 books that were read, 7 were rereads for me and 23 were brand new books to me. So really, really good breakdown. I'm very, very happy about that. I feel like I'm not just niching into one area. I'm kind of reading across the spectrum, which I really do appreciate about my reading. I really like to keep that going throughout the year. My star breakdowns are as follows. So I had 1 1-star, 0 2 stars, 9 3 stars, 9 4 stars, and 8 5 stars, with an average rating of a 3.9. So 8 5 stars in 3 months is kind of excessive. I feel like I'm a little bit more free giving of the 5 stars than most booktubers, but I like what I like, and it's all across the gambit. And what I think is a 5-star book might be a 5-star book for one reason and one reason only for me. It's all based off of how you break your rankings down in your head. And so I know 8's a lot for 5 stars, but I'm still happy that I had 8 5-star reads. So super pumped about that. Those are my stats, the number game, whatever you want to call it, for this first quarter. So I'm really happy about that. I feel really, really good about it. And I hope that next quarter either is better or reflects a similar look. So I'm really excited about that. The next thing I want to go over is my goals. So I did have some goals that I wanted to work on this year in reading. And so we're going to go back into those and kind of reevaluate, see where I'm at, see if I need to work on that one a little bit more while not working another one, and vice versa. So My first goal was my Goodreads goal of reading 60 books, which I have completed 29 books. Right? 29. Make sure. No? Oh, yes. Sorry. I have to date right now completed 29 books. In the first quarter, I completed 27. But as of today, I have completed a total of 29 books. So these goals numbers are representative as of today when I'm filming, not just as of March 31st. I wanted to specify that. So when it comes to goals, my Goodreads goal of 60 books, I've completed 29. So that gives me a 48% completion rate. And I'm only through the first quarter. So I'm really, really proud of that one. That's awesome. I am almost there to 50. I am almost there, and I will be getting my 30th book completed tonight. I'm super pumped about that. So I'm really excited. Yay. My next challenge was the A to Z challenge, where I was going to read a book for every letter of the alphabet. To date, I have 43% of it completed, completing 15 of the 26 letters in the English alphabet. I have not completed A, B, J, K, N, Q, R, U, X, Y, and Z. X, Y, Z are usually like the last ones to get completed. So from what I've been told, people who've done this goal before. So I feel like I'm still plugging away quite well at this one. So I'm not really too worried about it, but those are the letters I still have to complete. The next goal was my Mount Everest challenge. I wanted to read down my physical TBR, so I decided to partake in the Mount Everest challenge. Now, I was not doing the Mount Everest level. I was doing the Mount Blanc level of reading at least 24 books on my physical TBR that I previously owned prior to January 1st of 2022. And up to date, I have completed 46% of this with 11 books. So I am very, very proud of that. Almost half, and again, I'm only within the first quarter, so I'm still doing really, really well. I'm calling these all wins right now. The next goal was a classics challenge where I was to read a classic for each month, so essentially 12 classics in a year. I have completed 2 of that challenge, so only 17%. I did not read my March classic. I just did not get to it, so that's why I've only completed 2 of them right now. And I have developed a new kind of punishment, if you will, if I don't read the classic that I chose for myself. So hopefully this month in April, I will be reading my classic and getting it off my TBR so I do not have to draw from that jar again. Because not being able to choose the classic is really nerve-wracking because I've got some big-ass books on that shelf. Just saying. The next challenge was the Buzzword challenge hosted over by Books and Lala, and I'll link that video down below. And essentially what that was is she picked a buzzword for every month, and you created your TBR around that buzzword, or you just picked one book that followed on that buzzword. And I am proud to say I have completed all 3 months currently. I have completed January, February, March. I have not completed April's yet, but I will be completing it. I have every intention of completing it this month. So January's was the 5 W's, where I read Where the Wild Rose Blooms. February was pronouns, and I chose his last letter. And March was locations, where I read Mary, Queen of Scotland and the Isles. So I am 100% for this challenge for the first 3 months in the first quarter. So 2 thumbs way, way up on that one, baby. I'm very, very pumped about that. My next challenge was my TBR jar challenge, which is right here in this little beautiful jar of mine, where I draw one every single month and then I have to complete the prompt. I epically failed at this when I tried it the first time in 2016. And so far, I can honestly tell you I'm 100% completed on this challenge up to date. I have read every TBR jar challenge I have gotten so far. I am going to be reading April's this week, so I will be completing that one as well. I'm going to call that a win. The next challenge was a 2022 TBR list that I did create, and I will link that video down below as well. I picked a total of 9 books that I wanted to have read by the end of 2022. The reasoning for these books, whether they were on my shelf for a very long time, they intimidated me, I just really wanted to read them. Another book in the series was coming out, so I wanted to reread the series. There was all different reasons why I wanted to read these books. And I can honestly say I've completed 35% of that list. I have 3 books off that list currently. I have read Outlander. I have read Empire of the Vampire. And I have read, what was the other one that was on that list? Wicked Saints. I have read those 3 that appear on that list. So I'm really, really excited about that one. And I should be completing another one off that list this month for the Realmathon because it's one of Cassidy over at Covers with Cassidy's favorite books. So you get buku points for it. So yes. Those are all my goals for this year. I did have the other goal of getting back to what I love, and I think I'm succeeding in that. I am still loving doing this and talking with you guys. I am getting my creative juices back. I feel more every day like myself the way I was a while ago. And so I'm going to count that as a win as well with that goal. All right. So I did not make a series I want to complete in 2022 video because there weren't a lot, but there were some series that I wanted to definitely hit in 2022, and that was Outlander. And I have completed 1 of the 9 books that's out. So, it's getting there. I had Dragonfly and Amber on 2 TBRs, and I never got to it either time. So I'm a little bummed about that one, but we're going to get to it. And then there is John Gwen's The Faithful and the Fallen series, which I have yet to start. That first book is Malice, and it's on my April TBR to read. So fingers crossed I get to it and I start that. The next series I wanted to complete was the Rocky Mountain Memories series by Lori Wick. And I have read the first book, Where the Wild Rose Blooms. I have 3 more to go. And I feel like I'm going to get that one done because those read very, very quickly. So I feel still very, very good about it. I've got 3 more quarters. I can read 1 a quarter and I should be good. The next series that I wanted to complete, and the last series I wanted to complete, was Something Dark and Holy by Emily A. Duncan. And I have completed the first book in the trilogy, and I just recently purchased the other 2 books. So I will now be able to finish the series. So I'm very, very pumped about that. I have completely caught up on 1 series, and that is the Empire of the Vampire, because there's only 1 book out. Yay. There's only 1 book out, so I'm completely caught up on that one. The series I'm still behind on is 20. I'm not going to go into the series that I'm behind on because there is 20, but I might make a video later on, maybe like halfway through the year, of kind of a series breakdown of where I'm at the midpoint of the year. But just so you know, I'm behind on 20 series, which means I have started them, but I am not complete. I have not read up to the last book out, or I have not completed the series if it is complete. Now, for the best part of this video, the best books of the first quarter. So I'm going to be discussing all 8 of my 5-star reads. I'm not going to go into in-depth about them. I'm just going to bring them up. But there is 1 book on here that we're going to talk about because it was the best of the best. So, and this is in the order that I read them in, just so you know. The first 5-star read I had of the year was Girl Logic by Eliza Schlesinger. This was an audiobook. I love this. I thought it was hysterical. I laughed my ass off. Oh, this was so funny. I highly, highly recommend this on Audible. I do not think it would have the same staying power and punch if you just read it. I think it would still be hilarious, but she narrates it herself, and it's just fucking hilarious. I felt like I was at one of her stand-up comedy shows, which made me feel fantastic. So, laugh out loud all the way. The next 5-star read I have is Lori Wick, Where the Wild Rose Blooms. This was one of my rereads of the year, and this book was originally 5-star when I first read it. It's a 5-star now. I still love the story. It's so endearing. It's so nice, and I had a very, very good experience rereading this book. I very much enjoy it. This is the first in the Rocky Mountain Memory series, and I'm very looking forward to finishing this series this year and reading the other 3. Next book. This one. I love this. Clanlands by Sam Hewn and Graham McTavish. Not to mention Sam Hewn is one of the most sexiest men alive. But he and Graham McTavish narrate this book. And so you have these amazing Scottish accents talking to you, and it's just fucking fantastic. The banter between these two makes this book. Makes it. I love this book so much. I picked up Almanac, which is kind of the sequel to it. I only gave that one a 4-star because they kind of went into stuff that I didn't really give a shit about. But this one, this is brilliant. This is gold. I love this with every fiber of my being. I highly recommend this on the Audible version. I do not believe, again, that it would have as much staying power if you just read it, because the way they banter back and forth, you feel like you're in the room with them, and they're just this old married couple, and God, it's fantastic. It's just great. I love it. Highly recommend it. Fantastic. Loved it. 5 stars, obviously. The next one I have is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. This is literally my favorite book of all time. And of course, it was going to be a 5-star. This was on that must-read by 2022 list because I want to read the final installment of the series that just came out last year. Well, not final installment, but the most recent installment just came out last year. So I'm rereading the series this year. And so I had to put this one on the list to read it. I still love this story. I love it so much. Jamie Fraser is the king of men. I love him. His and Claire's story is just phenomenal. I can't get enough of it. But, Jamie. I just love him. I love him to death. And Sam Heughan, who plays Jamie Fraser, does a fantastic job at him. I've not watched the show, but the clips I've seen, I'm just like, that was spot on casting. That was fantastic. Another 5-star I have is Touch of Ruin by Scarlett St. Clair. This is the second installment in the Touch of Darkness series, and this was a 5-star all the way. I loved Touch of Darkness. I loved Hades' interpretation of Touch of Darkness in Game of Fate, and I'm really, really looking forward to Game of Retribution, which drops May 31st, which is not my birthday, but it's my birthday month, so I'm kind of, it's like a birthday present for me. I get to read Hades' book, and I'm just super pumped because although Persephone is very annoying, I find her very annoying in most Hades and Persephone retellings, I know that Hades' version of this book is going to be fucking fire because of the stuff that went on in this book. I cannot wait. And that is what propelled this book to be a 5-star book on its own, because I just know it's going to be fantastic. And even if I didn't have Hades' version, this was still an excellent, excellent book. And Scarlett St. Clair knocked out of the park. Again, her sex scenes are fantastic. They are on point. They are so good. Oh my God, they're awesome. Love this series. So happy. The next 5-star read I had was Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson. Again, another reread for me. I read this book when I was a freshman in high school. I adored it then. I adore it now. This was like coming home to me when I read it. It gave me the same sense of feeling. I was still sitting on the edge of my seat, even though I knew what happened. And I loved every single second of this book. If you have a daughter who is entering high school or is in junior high, I highly recommend having them read this. There are trigger warnings, but it is so enlightening and so just one of these books that it will change you once you read it, and how you feel about yourself and how you see yourself. It's a fantastic book. Please go read this. It's just amazing. Laurie Halse Anderson hit it right out of the ballpark with this one. Fantastic. 5 stars still, then and now. The next 5-star read I have was not originally a 5-star read until literally the very end of the book, and that is A Witch's Heart by Genevieve Gornichek. This is a kind of Norse mythology retelling of Loki, who falls in love with a witch named Agraboda, I think is how you say her name, and kind of their love story, and just basically her life and her children and how it fits into this Norse mythology world, which I knew nothing about. I thought I did. I learned very quickly that I did not, and it threw me for a loop a lot of times, this book. But the way Genevieve writes, it's very fluid. It flows so nicely, and it keeps you on the edge of your seat with all these really weird turns, and her interpretation of these myths is just fantastic. It's beautifully written. And then at the very end, the conclusion to this book I did not see coming, but I was so happy that I got it. I really thought I was going to get this kind of like blasé ending where it's just kind of like, and it's over. but I didn't. I got a nice, beautiful package wrapped up with a bow, set in front of me, and it was fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed my read of this. I definitely want to pick up more of her work when she comes out. This is her debut novel, and it was 5 stars. It was fantastic. I'm very, very happy with this. And the last book, and holding the title for the best book I read this quarter, that is a new book. I say that this is a new book because it's new to me, is Jay Kristoff's Empire of the Vampire. I cannot not talk about this book. I fucking loved every fucking page of this book. It was so freaking good. The dialogue, the blood, the anguish, the interviews, the backstabbing, the back and forth, the story. Oh, it was all of it. Fan-fucking-tastic. Just go read this book. I will link my full review of it down below. This is the only book that I did a full review for out of all these 5 stars because this is the one that just knocked me off my socks. I cannot not talk about this book. It's just phenomenal. This book put vampires back on the map for me in a very cool and a very badass and a very kick-ass kind of way. And I am super pumped and cannot wait for the next installment. And Jay Kristoff really gets his ass moving and write it because I need it like yesterday. I need it. All right. It's so good. Just check it out. It is the biggest book on this list at like 734 pages, but it is worth every fucking blood-drenched second of it. It is sexy, it is bloody, it is mean, it is angry, it is sarcastic, it is funny, it is comical, it is everything wrapped into one, and it's fucking phenomenal. So, this is my favorite book of the quarter. This wins the title, golf clap, applause, woo, everything, I don't care. It's phenomenal. So good. That is what I have for you for my quarterly wrap up. So I had some great reads this quarter. I only had one star, and I'm not even going to talk about it because it just wasn't for me. But everything I read, I enjoyed everything I read. I got experience to new authors, and I've got some new series that I'm getting invested in, some new styles and some new genres. I freaking love this quarter. This quarter is going to be hard to beat, but we'll see if we can do it in the next one. So I will see you guys all soon with another video. I hope this inspired you to check out your stats and see where you're standing with your goals and kind of check in. And if you've made it this far, leave me a red heart emoji because I fucking love this quarter. It's great. All right. I will see you guys all soon with another video. Later.